Further debate, the member from Spadina-Fort York.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've now been a member of this legislature for 2 years, and I'll say that one of the most frustrating things in this legislature is that we don't often debate the real agenda of this government. The real agenda of this government, when they talk about being open for business, what they really meant was that they're going to privatize services, public services, and they're going to sell off public assets. And we've seen that over the last 2 years. And one of the schedules, Schedule 5 of this Bill 197 that we're debating today, is about privatizing our public and Catholic school systems. That's what it's about, and that's what we should be debating. And the Minister of Education just was talking about this as an equity initiative. It's not an equity initiative. If they wanted to improve equity, and I would fully agree with that, I would fully agree with having teachers in front of students who represent those students so that students can see themselves reflected in the teachers who teach them. But if the government really wanted to improve equity and equitable outcomes in our schools, the first thing they would do is reverse the $700 million funding shortfall from last year's schools. That $700 million added up to $70 million for the Toronto District School Board. And one of the cuts that they had to make is they actually implemented tuition fees for their international baccalaureate program at the TDSB. It's $1,500 a year, $3,000 over 2 years. That makes the system incredibly inequitable, and it undermines the value and the purpose of universal public education that's free to the students. So that's what this government has done. You're not making the system more equitable, you're making it less equitable. And this is the record of the Conservative government. There was a time when the Conservatives, under John Robarts and Bill Davis, actually built public education in this province. But for the last 30 years, the Ontario Conservative government, their goal has been to privatize public education because they want to open up the $30 billion a year that we spend on education to for-profit corporations. That's what the goal is. We've seen it. That's why I'm here. 20 years ago, Mike Harris was making all kinds of cuts to schools. And as a parent, I joined a parent organization and I got involved in fighting those cuts. And 20 years later, I'm still fighting Conservative cuts to education, although I did have to fight against Liberal cuts to education. And I actually was there with the yeah. I was actually there with you at the school board as a fellow trustee fighting against Liberal cuts to education. But we were fighting against cuts. And at first I just thought, why is the Conservative, why was that Mike Harris government cutting so much from education? And then I started to look at what was happening in England with the privatization of the system there, in the United States with the charter schools and the voucher systems. They were opening it up to private for-profit industry. And that's what the goal of this government is, to privatize our public and Catholic school systems. 95% of the children in this province go to publicly funded schools. And that's 2 million children. And yet the Conservatives have consistently chosen ministers of education with no educational background. Why? Because you don't need an educational background if your goal is not to improve the system, but to privatize it. And when the last Conservative government was in, the Minister of Education was actually caught on camera stating that his goal was to create a crisis in the public school system in order to open it up for change, and that change was the privatization. And the government's own investigation of public school funding, of education funding in Ontario, found that that Conservative government had underfunded our public and Catholic schools by $1.2 billion, while at the same time introducing a private school tax credit that would have cost taxpayers $700 million. So they were taking money out of the public systems and putting it into private schools. And with this bill, Schedule 5, this government is taking on the power to have directors of education who are not teachers, without an education background, just like the minister, and also to assign additional duties to directors and to teachers, and without specifying what those duties will be. And based on that background, based on the history of the recent Conservative government and education, it looks like the goal is actually to privatize. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about for the next 2 years in this legislature. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.